Am I the asshole for kicking my boyfriend out over my cat? For context, my 24 female, boyfriend 30 male, and I recently moved in together. It's something we've been talking about, and when his lease ended, we moved into my apartment. I have a cat, Millie, who is my baby girl that I've had since she was a kitten. Back when my boyfriend and I started dating, he made a joke that if we were ever going to live together, he'd have to get rid of the cat, which I dismissed at the time. When he'd come over, he would ignore Millie, making jokes about how stuck up cats are and how much he's a dog person. I dismissed this because he never acted hostile towards her, and I figured it was just a preference. When we started to get serious about moving in, he asked if I would consider giving her away because he didn't like the idea of living with a cat. Am I the asshole for kicking my boyfriend out over my cat? I almost laughed before realizing he was serious. I said under no circumstances would I get rid of my cat, and he reassured me that if it was important to me, he'd get over it. Fast forward to last night. He didn't realize that I was in the kitchen when he came home, and Millie was on the couch, and I heard him go to the room and give this sigh. Before I could call out, I heard him say, "You're so effing worthless." It terrified me because I never heard him talk with such malice, and he sounded like a different person. I rushed out and saw him looking at Millie. I was yelling, asking what he thought he was doing talking to her like that, and he jumped, and I scooped up Millie and told him to leave my apartment right now. He looked stunned and started to argue where was he supposed to go, and I told him I don't care, he just needs to leave. Am I the asshole for refusing to cut my hair for my father's wedding? Dad, 42, and his fiancée, Alice, 28, are getting married in November this year. I, 15 female, really didn't like Alice because I think she replaced my mom too soon. My mom died of cancer 2 years ago, and she and Dad started dating 8 months after. I try to be polite as I can whenever she's around or starts a conversation with me. Dad never forced me to have a relationship with her, and I can also see that she's not interested in having one. After they got engaged, Alice approached me and said we needed to talk. She said she has a clear vision of how she wants her wedding to be, and I have to comply so that everything will be perfect. I said sure and asked what I need to do. She said, "First, I want you to cut your hair short." Am I the asshole for refusing to cut my hair for my father's wedding? She said, "First, I want you to cut your hair short. Second, you can't wear heels. And lastly, only light makeup and no fake lashes, okay?" I let her finish before I responded. I said I can do the second and third, but I will not be cutting my hair. My mom loves my hair and helped me grow it thick and healthy. I got my blonde wavy hair from my mom, so I will keep it long. Alice accused me of wanting to upstage her. I said that's not what I'm trying to do, and I think it's unfair since I know she didn't make these demands on other female guests. She then called me a selfish brat and told me that she'll tell my dad about how I disrespected her. My dad then got involved and told me to just cut my hair because it will grow back anyway. Am I the asshole for telling a coworker that if I'm not allowed to wear makeup, then he should not be allowed to keep his beard? I, 25 female, work at a law firm. I'm basically the receptionist of the office, so I see every single client that comes into the building. I also like wearing makeup, not to the point of being completely unrecognizable, but I do like to wear a full face. We recently had a meeting to discuss the dress code of the office since some of my coworkers are having issues adapting to the in-person modality. At the end, my boss asked if someone had any other concern, and my coworker, 45 male, let's call him Mario, said something along the lines of, "I think makeup should be banned." He said people like me look like a whole different person without it, and that misleads clients. Am I the asshole for telling a coworker that if I'm not allowed to wear makeup, he should also not be allowed to keep his beard? Of course, I was shocked when he said that, and I could see that a lot of my coworkers were too since the comment was so unwarranted. I told him, well, if I'm not allowed to wear makeup, then you shouldn't be allowed to keep your beard given that you go from a grown man to a 12-year-old when you shave. He turned really red and tried to say something, but my boss did not let him. I thought that was the end of the situation, but I found out that some of the other employees are making fun of him using the comment that I made. I now feel really bad for what I said. I told my family and they agreed that what I said was more hurtful than what he did, but he shouldn't have named me and tried to make an example out of me. Am I the asshole for wanting my wife to cook and clean properly at least once a week? So me, 28 male, and my wife, 28 female, have been married for about 4 years and have known each other for over a decade. We both work full-time and earn almost similar amounts. She's been struggling with severe depression and other mental health issues for her whole life. I've been her support for almost a decade now whenever she's down, her words, not mine. In 2019, some tragedy happened in her family and she was heartbroken. I was there with her the whole time taking care of her. Since that time, I've taken over all the housework, cooking, cleaning, laundry, and buying groceries. Last month, I asked her if she can start helping me out with it since it's been almost 2 years since she's done any housework. Am I the asshole for wanting my wife to cook and clean properly at least once a week? She hesitated but said yeah. She started doing dinner twice a week and also cleans a little bit as well. The problem is that I think she's deliberately doing things half-assed so that I have to do them. like undercooking chicken or not vacuuming the carpet areas even though 70% of our house is carpet. I know she can do better because she used to do it before the thing happened back in 2019. I'm pretty sure she thought that if she did everything half-assed, I'd just end up asking her not to do anything and doing everything myself again. Instead, I sat down to talk to her about it and asked why she's doing it. She bursted out crying and accused me of being insensitive because she's had a hard time and I'm being horrible.
Am I the asshole for not inviting my daughter to my wedding? I, 46-year-old male, and getting married to my fiancé, 39-year-old female. We have been together for 3 years. I have 2 daughters, 18 and 19, from previous relationships. My fiancé is a very sophisticated person and has very exquisite tastes. She also doesn't really care for young children, and this has created tension between her and my youngest daughter. While our plans have been delayed due to global circumstances, our plans to get married are finally going ahead. It's going to be a very lavish and expensive wedding. Due to the nature of the wedding and my fiancé's preference, our wedding is also going to be child-free. We will, however, be inviting my oldest as she is no longer a child and because, unlike my youngest, her and my fiancé get along well. However, I didn't realize that my youngest expected to come to the wedding. She tried to tag along with my fiancé and oldest when they were going dress shopping because she thought she was going to need a dress too. I explained to her that the wedding was going to be for adults only and that she wouldn't be attending. She started crying and getting mad, which stressed out my fiancé. She has been distraught about this for days and hasn't let it go. My parents came by to visit one day and my youngest told them what happened. When they asked for clarification on the situation, I explained to them that my daughter wouldn't be attending the wedding because the child-free rule applied to her as well. Besides, this wedding would not be suitable for a child and I don't want my fiancé to have to deal with my daughter on the most important day of her life. Oh my gosh! I had to reread that shit. My parents told me I was being a terrible father by prioritizing my fiancé over my daughter and that on the day of the wedding they would take my daughter out for a special day, which means they wouldn't be in the wedding. I told them that they couldn't do that. Even if they didn't attend the wedding, I wouldn't let them take my daughter. This has become a bigger conflict than I intended. Can I roll my eyes farther back? My fiancé and I both think we're in the right for wanting a child-free wedding, but it appears I may lose my parents from the wedding over this, and I want to know if I am the right or not. So, am I the asshole? No, you're not the asshole. You're the dumbass. You're just a complete dumbass. Like, man. What? You stupid piece of shit. Am I the asshole for wearing white at my blind cousin's wedding? I'd like to start by saying that me and my cousin, who was blind from birth, aren't very close, but we get along well as relatives. She sent me an invitation, though we don't talk as much, but since I wanted to take a break from work, I decided to go. My favorite color is white. I love wearing white because it brings out my skin glow and makes me feel comfortable and confident. I purchased a maxi white dress, nothing fancy, but goes well with my skin tone, and wore it to the wedding. There wasn't a big party with many guests, but sort of family dinner and small celebration. I really thought no one would even notice I was wearing white. My cousin and her husband obviously didn't know because no one told them. But my aunt kept giving me uncomfortable looks the entire evening, and so did my other cousin. Once I decided to leave, my aunt pulled me aside and berated me for wearing this color at her daughter's wedding. She said that just because her daughter is blind doesn't mean she's stupid and doesn't know what's going on around her, basically saying I brought negative energy and disturbed the celebration by having guests notice and by extension my cousins as well. She gave a lengthy lecture and asked if I hate to see her daughter happy and whether I pulled a stunt because my blind cousin got married before me. I was like, whoa, calm down, none of this was true. And married before me? I never thought of that. I just wore my favorite color and didn't do it because my cousin is blind and wouldn't notice. I argued with my aunt for trying to dictate what I wear, but she defended herself saying I was a guest and should have respected the bride. I left feeling very upset and exhausted from that encounter. My boyfriend said he believed I used the fact that my cousin is blind to wear white, but this didn't fly with her family. He pulled the I told you so line and said I just made my family hate me with that stunt. Even though he knows I always wear white, but he warned me that if my cousin finds out there's going to be some issues. He suggested I get ready to apologize, but I really see no reason to apologize since I chose to wear a comfortable color that I feel confident in. So, am I the asshole for wearing white to her wedding?
Story time! So yesterday my friends and I all went to the fair and there were 6 of us in total. And none of us wanted to have to worry about driving there and parking, so we just Ubered instead. So we left the fair around 11:15 and we walked to a nearby shopping center where the Uber picked us up about 10 minutes late. We ended up leaving at 11:30. We get in the Uber, the man says hello, and we head home the normal way. Everything's fine. And my parents don't like when I Uber, so they were tracking me on Life 360 from the moment I got in the car. After about 10 minutes in, I get a text from my mom, and it said, "Where are you?" I look up from my phone and I realize I have no idea where we are, and Ubers know their directions, they know how to take you home. We were 20 minutes out of the way. So I'm terrified. My mom's texting me nonstop, literally about to call the police. I'm gonna run out of time, but posting part 2. Okay, back to the Uber story. Our parents are freaking out, we're texting each other in our group chat so he doesn't hear us. Also, while this was all happening, he wasn't talking to us, but he had an earbud in and he was talking to someone on the phone really quietly. It was super creepy. My mom starts calling me again and he hears the ring. And one of my friends pulled up on her phone the directions to get home, which he also heard. So he knew that we thought something was off. After a little while longer, we finally know where we are, so we feel a little bit better. We were getting really close to the turn that goes into my friend's neighborhood, and we were thinking if he doesn't make this turn, we're screwed. Thank goodness he makes a turn and we're back at my friend's house.